god of weapons is what happens when my 90-year-old Alzheimer-powered gamer grandma decides to recreate Tetris from memory. The end result is just like the process, very entertaining. This adventure might look very short, but let me assure you, it is not. I am someone who has been known to hit the books, and I will start by saying that this world has very deep, intriguing and breathtaking lore. The story is so complex, and it was harder than going through Dark Souls without crying. But in the end, I have come to understand it very well. I consider myself to be the only lore master of this game, and obviously I cannot wait to share my knowledge with you. Once long ago, there was a kingdom, because in every fantasy world there has to be a kingdom. Naturally, this kingdom was ruled by a royal family. The king and queen had 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. The king was very busy with running the kingdom, so I would say we cannot blame him for not realizing none of the children were his. How did that happen? I guess someone should ask the queen. After a couple of years, the children grew up, and just like in every story, they weren't happy with sharing the kingdom. So a massive war broke out and a lot of people didn't like it. Many battles happened and many sacrifices had to be made. Very sad. Very sad. As far as I understand, although there were a lot of battles, the most important was the one that happened near a lone cabin by the waterfall. By this point, you are probably very confused and annoyed. But what do I care? I'm just a vampire who woke up in the least enthusiastic dungeon I have seen in my life. After carefully looking around, it appears I woke up inside a prison. After careful inspection, I am not pleased with the conditions in this institution. The state of this dungeon is very bad. It is shocking to see that none of the prisoners have their own rooms, and what's even more surprising is that they lack the most essential amenity in today's world, an internet connection. I don't know how I managed to sleep here for centuries. After talking to some of the residents, I realized that my assumptions of this place are even worse than I imagined. I absolutely agree that someone like the king and the nun deserve to be in this prison. But I think that throwing someone like your everyday butcher, whose favorite pastime is eating huge amounts of food, in this dungeon is way too much. I mean, maybe someone named Butcher might give you wrong looks, but we can all agree an assassin does not belong in prison. I have a haircut specific to well-documented beings known as Karens, so you already know where this is going. With everything I have seen here, I have decided to express my concerns to the manager. Of course, it has to be the highest ranking manager possible. This institution has many floors, 20 to be precise. I can safely conclude that the highest ranking manager resides on the highest floor. I entered the first floor and I was immediately shocked again. I thought prisoners here had it bad, but it looks like employees have it worse. These people are literally walking bones. It is safe to say that I do not think they are making minimum wage. Why they chose to work for such a dreadful institution, I have no idea. It takes a lot of resisting to stop someone like me, and these underlings don't have a strong backbone. On my way to reach the last floor, I am met with a very mysterious and secretive merchant. This merchant is so shady, I don't even know how he looks like and why is he doing this. I just know that he offers me items and takes my money I borrowed from those unfortunate employees. As I deal with these employees and managers, I gain experience which allows me to increase my inventory size, which in return allows me to store more items and weapons. There are a lot of weapons in this game, but I have decided to focus all my resources on simple daggers. The damage of these daggers increases with the amount of employees turned into angels, and this vial does the same. Just like every other Karen in the wild, my passive ability is to suck the life out of everyone around me. With this passive, the best items for my build are the ones which give me lifesteal and health regeneration. The more overheal I have, the more damage I deal. As I was moving through floors, it seems that I have forgotten how to suddenly move short distances because I was getting hit from every conceivable direction. Progressing wasn't hard, but I couldn't really gain a lot from my passive. I was kinda disappointed and I seriously started to consider leaving and coming back another day. After clearing the 5th floor, I saw a strange purple elixir. This elixir would decrease my health by 50% and give me 1 revival. I thought this would be very beneficial for me because if I had lower max health, I could start benefiting from overheal much sooner. Moments later, I realized that I am what other people would call an intellectually challenged person. The elixir didn't affect my max health, it just affected my current health. I wasn't doing very well. My overheal was very low, I was collecting damage faster than dislikes, and the guilt of my stupidity started to show. But nothing could stop me on my quest to see the manager. The first opportunity to speak to a manager appeared shortly. Dragon Blood Elixir can occasionally appear in the shop. These elixirs are this world's version of saying I want to see your manager. When I use this elixir, I am guaranteed a manager will meet me on the next floor. The manager wasn't pleased with meeting me and she immediately started attacking me. I'm pretty sure that this world doesn't have any police or any laws, to be honest, so I just had to deal with this violently. Up until now, I really wanted to resolve this peacefully. I mean, if this doesn't scream peace, I don't know what does. My quest was almost over on the 10th floor. By some sheer luck, I barely survived with 1 health. I took a look in my inventory and things weren't that great. I barely had any high ranked weapons and my support items weren't that great. When I compared this run to many others, things could have been better, but I pressed on. A couple of minutes later, I really decided to push my luck by getting a ritual doll. This is a very risky item to take, but I would sell the last drop of my soul for extra lifesteal. Starting floors with 1 health is a very stupid idea, but in my defense, there was a manager whose favorite pastime is cosplaying as a Grim Reaper. As an immortal vampire, people who like to dress up don't really scare me. After clearing this floor, I decided to do the same thing on the next one. I was getting a little bit arrogant. I was happy with the state I was in, but I wished I had better weapons. I was able to fix this when I noticed magic anvil in the shop. After purchasing a magic anvil from the merchant, things improved even further. Moments later, I acquired an item that summons 2 managers. If there is one item that I can't get enough of, it is this one. The remaining floors didn't pose any more threat. After the 15th floor, this quest took a very dark turn. Just like most psychopaths, I stopped caring for those poor prisoners and even poorer employees. My stats could always be bigger, and by this point I was obsessed with the amount of overheal I accumulate. As I cleared the second to last floor, I couldn't help but notice that there will be a lot of job openings in the area because there are a lot of employees lying down. I feel that by this point I have even beaten the Great Depression and that I would be this world's equivalent of the Dark Plague. Before meeting the boss manager of this establishment, there wasn't much to do other than to commit cruel acts of violence. I had enough strong weapons, some rare items, and I was very confident that I could burn this institution to the ground. If that happened, I would be the first Karen in the world who actually managed to do something with her delusion. I confidently stepped onto the last floor and the boss manager defeated me in the first 9 seconds. That was very disappointing, but something happened that even I forgot about. I had 1 revival from that purple elixir. Somehow, my stupidity saved me, and with some careful running around, I have defeated the last manager. I will go down in history as the only Karen who defeated a legion of managers.